Glorious day to you, my friends. Kyokotoru utana hatata arihita. Welcome to day number 15 of being, blissful existence, illuminating and nurturing growth. Iskohuturu itakoru. But the B and the E could also be becoming empty. Niaryasha huturu utakariyaratata. In this series, in this being series, for 144 days. We're on day number 15. We're going to chant magical chants. We're going to breathe. We're going to spend time with our inner being. We're going to engage in spirit subtly. And allow our inner being to reveal secrets of spirit, our true nature, our true realized self. In the first 55 days, since we're using the Fibonacci sequence to spiral up the Great Pyramid, this is the imagery they gave me, spiraling up the Great Pyramid to the edge of this matrix of physicality and reality, poking our head through the dharma chakra at the edge of the matrix, using the Eye of Providence in the highest source of consciousness to look at this reality from a divine perspective. So we got some imagery. We're going to do this for 144 days. We're going to use the Mala of Ascension, and the first part of the Mala of Ascension is the Mala of Joy. We've been using the Mala of Joy during this Shine series. And in the Mala of Joy, we break up the 108 seeds into 9 groups of 12, which makes 108. We need 36 more to get into 144, because 144 is 12 times 12. We have 3 groups of 12 in the Mala of Ascension portion. Now, these 9 groups of 12, each of these 9 groups represents one of the chakras in our Merkaba, our light body, our ascension vehicle, our chariot. And starting down at the bottom of our Merkaba is Vasundhara, the Earth Star Chakra, and also the Annamaya Kosha. They reminded me if I'm going to talk about the chakras every day, I got to talk about the koshas every day. And then we have Muladhara. As we move out of the earth, the roots, our roots into the earth, and out of this nourishment in the physicality of the earth, of everything that comes from the earth, as we start to get more of our life force energy, our nourishment from spirit, we're getting less from the physical. As we move out of the Annamaya Kosha, this food, this nourishment. Koshas, one idea of koshas is that we are spirit. We are this Purusha, this omnipresent spirit that is observing everything. This is our true nature. This is the idea. And then when we decided to have these experiences, when we decided to cause the expansion through the ideas of self, through the idea of karma, dharma, through the ideas of lifetimes, souls, and then individual souls or individual lifetimes. Through the idea of all this and the population of a planet, we, in our Anandamaya Kosha, in our true state of bliss, we then decided to do this. We had to put on these layers, put on clothing. Each layer of clothing is one of the koshas. We put on this clothing of higher knowledge, that Vinyanamana, Vijnanamaya kosha or Vijnanamaya kosha, iskohutuguru. We put on the first layer of higher knowledge. Then we put on this second layer of this mind, iskohutu, the manomaya kosha. And then we put on a third layer, this pranamaya kosha. How are we going to deal with this breath and our lower chakras and these ideas of physicality? And then we put on this last kosha, this anamaya kosha, an overcoat of this extreme physicality and getting our nourishment from it and incarnating on a planet. Now all these ideas, so Muladhara is we're moving up into the pranamaya kosha. So where these three chakras, we can get energy from the breath. We can get this life force energy using the breath. And then we can utilize both the air breath and the spiritual energy through our physical breath and our focus. And we can, with focus, with intention, and breath, we can energize our lower chakras. We can energize our whole body. This physicality. So Muladhara, Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra, the water chakra, Manipura, the solar plexus chakra, the fire chakra, and even prana and the pranamaya kosha, or working with prana, also enhances the air chakra, our heart chakra, anahata, Nyoto Uttaraha Sahaya. I started recording at 11:11 after practicing Niyariyashakoho so I can get some movement in, maybe get a little relaxation in the legs and hips so I'm not as squirmy. Niyorosa Katatiria. Busy day. Anyway, Anahata, the heart center, our mind, and the Manomaya Kosha is all about the functions of the mind. How we think. And then we move up into Vishuddha, Anya or Agnya, and Sahasrara, the crown chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. And these are this Vijnana Maya Kosha, Nirroskahata, higher wisdom, higher knowledge, this knowledge that's beyond the physical, beyond our lower chakras. This deals with truth and the Akash, the space in between the elements, but this is still kind of physical. If we're dealing with the space in between, implicitly we're dealing with the elements and the forces that flow in between it. This is the field of possibilities of force carriers. We'll get there in a second. Interestingly, Agya, Agnya, Anya. My people call it Anya. And I never liked the translation for Agya as command. Once we get to near the highest source of consciousness, sure, command. Because command is not so egoic, but in our physical form, command is a really egoic thing. It's more, to me, I see that as more as war-oriented or controlling, or like the negative aspects of Mars, the god of war. We talked about Mars yesterday, Mangala, Iskohuryoto. But we also talked about the positive aspects of Mangala yesterday, about being the righteous ruler, about being virtuous, about walking the path of dharma, the path of asha, of righteousness through action. When we're humble and non-egoic, these commands in a verb form, the command is just, I know it's going to happen, so I'm just going to use the command form. Instead of, I don't need to worry about stepping on anybody's toes. I don't need to worry about protocol, because the protocol is instantaneous. So then command, agya, makes sense. And if you think you're the righteous ruler of your reality, then yes, you're commanding the universe. But how many egoic people out there are attempting to command the universe and not getting any results that they expect? They're expecting alignment, but they're getting contrast. Anya, interestingly, even though my people call it that way, it's more of a feminine name. It's a feminine goddess name, feminine heroine name. Of benevolence. Yes, Anya. It also means inexhaustible. We can view that negatively as, because this is our judgment center. Anya is where we're creating this contrast. We're interpreting what came in from the universe as pure energy and pure whatever. This is the thing that's allowing us to interpret it as abundance or contrast, or a karmic imprint or not a karmic imprint. We're deciding on the value of it from how our third eye sees it, how we resonate with it. Is an easier way to say it. But this Anya is also pleasurable, benevolent heroine, and an inexhaustible supply. Well, one, we can think of it as we're constantly thinking, but if we're allowing the benevolence, that's why I like Anya. Besides that, my people tell me, call it Anya. We like Anya. In Sahasrara, with the higher thought forms and in alignment, we're more about our truth, the true intuition, not the illusion of how we want it to be, and we're not attaching or decorating it as we would like it to look instead of how it's coming through. And then at the top of our Merkaba, we have Vyapini, the soul star chakra, and Vyapini means the goddess who is everywhere. So when we're sitting on our throne and wearing our crown as the righteous ruler of our reality, if we're looking down on this physicality, we're ruling our physicality. If we're looking upward toward spirit, there's all this energy, all this spiritual understanding that can be received, that can be understood. This wisdom, niyarusko, for lack of a better term. And then there are three ideas that I'd like to call three different chakras, 4, 10, 11, and 12 in this matrix. Lajin, Lasvinj, Neorota Atkoriata, through the ideas of Rita, righteousness, cosmic order, wisdom, truth. But it's beyond the physical. Isko Uturiato, and then Vikara, this divine change, this change, that's constant change that's happening in the universe. If we observe it and we understand it, and we can see the flow of dharma, we can see the flow of energy, we can see action, reaction. And then when we become the righteous ruler of our reality and we're interacting with spirit and this reality, our actions become divine actions in divine right timing. We are more aligned with our actions and the flow of the universe, the flow of dharma, creating less karmic imprints on us and inviting others to create their own karmic imprints. And then this shrishti, this divine creation, emanation, I like the word emanation, appearance, because unless you get to this near the highest level of consciousness, things just happen, they show up. And that's how they appear just like magic. But once you understand the formula, once you understand how the energy is flowing, you're causing that divine creation. And then when you understand it that way, then I totally can agree. You can command the universe. But until then, I'm going to keep calling it Anya, where I'm inviting in this divine heroine of intuition, this divine heroine of the moon, will help me see a true reflection that's inexhaustible. So, let me see if I can bring that up. Yes. So today, you already know because you're watching this video, but we're going to see what they're going to call it. I want to call it something like you are the quantum piston. We're going to talk about quantum physics here. We're going to get our geek hats on. We're going to put in our pocket protectors. I saw some cool things. So we are this quantum piston that is driving this churning of the ocean of milk. The ocean of milk is just one of the layers. We're churning all the layers and dimensions of this physicality. We're contributing to the flow of dharma. Our actions are just like a piston. When we cause an action, we cause the ripples that cause the churning of all the oceans. All the flow of energy. What we're about to talk about will help us see that in a different way. So I saw this video. There's a link below. I'm going to pop in another one. Okay, so this video was he's talking about a paper that was published in Nature at the end of September of this year. And they made a quantum piston, like an internal combustion engine piston. The internal combustion engine works on heat, and so we're going to talk about Sama Vritti Pranayama, because all these things happen in 4 steps of one cycle, okay? Sama. So we break up the 12 seeds of each of the 9 groups, of each of the 12 groups, into 4 groups of 3, modeled after Sama Vritti Pranayama. Box breath, where we breathe in for 3 seeds until we have a full set of lungs. Then we hold our breath. Okay? Constant volume in our lungs. We're holding our breath for a count of 3. And then we breathe out for a count of 3. And then we hold our breath with an empty set of lungs. In the Shine series, we discovered so many different things that follow Sama Vritti Pranayama. And even Om Mani Padme Hum follows box breath. Our breath in is the Om. Our holding our breath with a full set of lungs is Mani. Then we're baking the jewel. Okay? We're breathing in the Om. We're breathing in the wisdom, the energy into the chakra. We're baking the chakra. We're increasing the pressure and the energy in the chakra till we get to a flash point where this energy is released from the chakra, once we start this flashpoint, once we start the ignition, there's nothing more that we do. We just decide to let the air out of our lungs, and this release happens, this expansion happens, this radiation of the energy out of the chakra. There's now a release of pressure, but then at the end, when we have no more air in our lungs, we have a constant volume of 0, and for a count of 3, we sit there with no breath in our lungs. Now, the internal combustion engine is the piston, we're compressing the fuel and the air. We're compressing it into the cylinder, into the chakra. We're breathing into the chakra. Now, this compression phase, we're building the heat and we're building the pressure. That's what we're doing in the Mani phase. And then at the ignition point, when the spark plug fires and ignites the fuel and the oxygen, that's when combustion happens, and it pushes the piston down, which is our radiation, our release of energy, and we're doing the work. This is the work phase. This is the work phase. And then this is a part of the recovery phase. We're embodying in this series. Now I paraphrased. I read the paper, paraphrased. And I've attached the link to the paper if you want to geek out. So these scientists from Germany and Japan collaborated to do this experiment. So they did this experiment with raising the frequency and utilized harmonics and resonance. Harmonics and resonance during they raised the frequency during the in-breath phase, the Om phase, because when we chant Om, it raises our vibration. This is why we're talking about this. And then once we have a stable volume, they used a magnetic field. They used harmonics and resonance to change the quantum state by tuning the quanta, the elements that they were using, the quanta through a magnetic field by changing the field strength. What's all that mean? And what does it mean for us? And why do I want to talk about it? Besides talking about quantum physics. And at the quantum level, we're talking about the consciousness of this matrix. We're talking about the consciousness of this life force energy. We're talking about the consciousness of us and all of the elements in our body and how we can interact with them. This is why we're talking about it. So during the Om phase, we're raising the frequency. During the Mani phase, we're utilizing harmonics. We're utilizing resonance, because every frequency has harmonics and can resonate with other things. And we're changing the quantum state. They changed the quantum state. In this phase, they increase the magnetic strength, the amplitude of the wave. The frequency is how fast how many cycles per second is it doing. So they increase it so there's more cycles per second, so it sounds like a higher pitch. The strength of it that's the volume. They increase the field strength. They increase the volume, which baked the jewel, which converted bosons into fermions. Bosons are force carriers. Fermions are the matter of the universe. Through increasing the strength. The strength of the field. And then during this Padme, the unfolding of the lotus, this radiation phase, because they changed it, they made it physical from a force into matter, they changed the state. The state of this then physicality just radiated outwards. The energy it received, and then it could only radiate. And then after releasing it and getting back, we're trying to get back to the ground state. And then it got to its lowest energy state again. And then by lowering the frequency, we don't necessarily lower our frequency, but going back to a force, let's just think of this as we rest and digest, okay? As we relax, we breathe out. It is a release of our energy. It's a release of tension. So we unfold the lotus, there's nothing to do. As we start to exhale, there's nothing to do. And at the end, we're empty. We're becoming empty, illuminating our natural grace. And then we hold our breath with nothing. And so they lowered the frequency. And then therefore the harmonics and resonance now are working with a lower frequency, and they reduce the field strength. And by reducing the field strength during this embodiment phase, this emptiness phase, it makes sense that they're reducing the field strength. Well, what happens when we calm our mind? We are reducing our energy field. We're collapsing our concept of time. What happens when we focus our awareness? When we focus our awareness, and this is all we're doing in this series really, is focusing our awareness on the breath and the chant, and then letting our inner being do all the rest of the work. We're lowering our focus. We're limiting our focus. We're increasing the strength of our magnetic field by focusing our awareness on two things and allowing that to consume our awareness. Later on, as we spiral up more and more, we aren't going to be chanting. During the last couple of days, we're not going to chant. In true meditation, I don't want to say true meditation, but one of the forms of meditation is sitting in silence, regardless of what else is going on. You have mastery over your own mind. You have been practicing pratyahara, where you're learning not to listen to the ears, not to listen with the eyes, not to see with the eyes, not to feel with the senses. So we're withdrawing for the senses. And so we can get still in the mind and just exist in the emptiness, where we can observe or not observe, where we're not actually seeking. Can we observe without seeking? When we allow ourselves to become this Purusha, this state of existence, this state of being. Now, if we want a little backstory, we should stop right there. I've got links in a comment about bosons, fermions. How would one change a force into matter anyway? Interestingly, bosons have integer, they all have to do with spin. So I'm going to use this little crystal, to talk about spin. So bosons have integer spin, which means if you spin it one full time around, it's still oriented the same way. It's facing the same way. Now, fermions, the only way to, everybody else is explaining it, fermions have a non-integer spin. They have a half or 3 halves or something like this. But they have attachment. Fermions, or matter, have way more mass than the force carriers. So this idea of spin, so I'm going to hold on to it. I'm attached to it. I'm going to spin it around once. Watch what happens. So now this bumpy side is still facing outwards. Look what's happened to the attachments. It's all twisted. Okay? But look what happens if I twist in the same direction. We're back to normal. So it takes 2 spins to get back to the same orientation with regard to the attachment. Got other links to cool videos where you can see all the attachments to it, where the spin looks like it's knotting it up, and then the next spin unweaves all the knots. And it doesn't matter how many attachments you have to the object, doing a second spin untangles all the knots. Just an interesting thing. So a couple links. One by Dr. Weinstein, but it has some cool, it's a shorter video, but it's got a whole bunch of cool graphics in it. And another one by Australian astrophysicist Matt O'Dowd. He's talking on PBS Spacetime about electrons do not spin. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there that's really cool if you like wearing your geek hat. Now, Sabine Hosenfelder, I love her attitude on both quantum physics, science, how she explains things sarcastically, and she's delving into consciousness also, which is really interesting. And so her video on does the many worlds interpretation make sense? She talks about quantum mechanics. But the important thing here is, I've touched on it a couple other times. An electron's orbit around the nucleus is probability. We don't know where it is. There's a probability of where it is. And in quantum mechanics, that's called probability wave function, or just a wave function. And a function is simply, you put something in, you crank the meat grinder handle, you get something out, okay? And sometimes it's a black box, so you can't inspect it. And we're doing something. We don't know what it's doing, okay? So this wave function is a probability calculation. Quantum Schrodinger's equation was updated, and it's called updating or collapsing the wave function. So once you measure something, so we don't know where the electron is in orbit until we measure it. And once we measure it, we know where it is. So we update the probability wave function with the observed location. And then the wave function still works correctly. If we observe it and don't update it, then all the other predictions turn out to be false. And then there's this idea of a non-local reality. Is there a local reality? Does that mean if I put a bubble around me in my universe unto myself, and when I'm doing in here, am I affecting only my universe? Consciousness. But they've proven that it's a non-local reality, which means when you're interacting on one electron, it influences the wave function for every electron in this matrix. What does that mean? That means you are connected to the highest source of consciousness. Everything that you think or say or do causes ripples that the highest source of consciousness observes, understands, because it's omniscient. You are updating the wave function. And because you're updating the wave function, you're affecting every other electron, every other piece of physicality. You're updating everything that's a fermion, everything that's matter, which means it's earth or water or fire or air. You're affecting the force carriers, so you're affecting the Akash, you're affecting all of this Shakti that's in the matrix here. You're affecting this Shiva that's in the matrix. You're affecting this Prakriti, you're affecting Purusha by every thought that you have. And it's not this slow, when a butterfly in Japan flaps its wings, that 2 years later it's going to create a typhoon in the United States. It's instantaneous. When the butterfly flaps its wings, all of reality has changed. The wave function has been updated. All that is knows. How big of a change it is? It's up to you to decide. What's your field strength? What's your frequency? So, how can we stop creating? How can we not be the piston that's helping to churn this ocean, that churns this matrix? How do we get out of it? Well, there's so many different ways. There are 2 yogic principles that talk about it. Okay? Pretty much every day I've been talking about aparigraha, just loosely. This, when we first learn about aparigraha, it means non-attachment. Okay, yeah, don't attach to things. Yeah, don't. But what it really means, there's so many deep meanings to aparigraha, okay? Not. What I like about pari is that it's, we're meandering, we're around, we're towards, we're leaning into, we're tending to. Our typical nature is to do it. Graha is to grab it, take it, be like Mars. Oh yeah, Mars the god of war. I'm going to take what I want. Well, when we grab things, we're attaching onto it. When we take it, we're reaching out. So aparigraha is not to do that, but maybe there's more insight there. So there's a deep subject out there. It means so many different things. Vairagya. In certain schools, it's what I like to say that we're doing in these first 55 days. We're unclasping, we're loosening our grip on our attachments to this physicality, and we're inviting and allowing spirit more. At the beginning, these 2 things are mutually exclusive. This is exactly what Vairagya means. Vairagya. Detachment from the physical as we engage our mind in spirit. What I really like about the breakdown is, how do you do that? Okay, so I'm going to not think about the physical and I'm going to think more about spirit. Okay, well, we've been talking about Abraham Hicks, and we can see it as contrast, or we can see it as alignment or joy, alignment to joy. And the forms of joy are gratitude, satisfaction, ease, joy, bliss, love, truth. They isn't expletive. It means yes, indeed, truly, verily. Yes. can mean, it means lots of other things too, but it can mean frisky, lively, eagerly, even blissfully, joyfully. Ra, in one of its forms, means to rejoice, means to radiate. And gya, what I really love about gya, one who knows or realizes. So ragya, one who knows how to rejoice, one who knows the bliss, and vai is one, yes, I know the bliss, I know about alignment. Okay? I know that even if I'm not at it now, I know that if I keep spiraling upwards, I will reinforce this behavior in this physical body. If I reinforce this joy and look upwards and look beyond the physical, I know I will observe things that are not of this physicality. I will observe and experience and engage. And at the beginning, we're listening. We're seeing things that are beyond the physical. We're hearing things from beyond the physical. And then maybe when we get past this rita of observation of the truth, and we start interacting with this vikara, this divine change, as we start witnessing the divine change, we've observed the truth, we've observed some wisdom. We're not interacting, we're not causing the change yet. I mean, we're causing the change because we're thinking, but as we're observing this universe in vikara of the changes, so we're witnessing the changes and the influence of the changes in the rita. And as we elevate our mind and our consciousness, and as we observe enough, we will build it into our belief systems of, oh, well, maybe I'll try an experiment. Maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try that. And we then start to cause the changes in vikara, and we can observe the results through rita, through wisdom, through truth, through purity, through virtue. And as we aren't attaching on the outcome, no attachment to the outcome, we're allowing our forces to stay forces in the universe. And then these forces, these thoughts, these forms are inexhaustible. Of the divine heroine. We are all both masculine and feminine. We are both heroes and heroines. To me, that's what Vairagya and Vairagya once I start talking fast, my focus on my pronunciation, which is why I love light language, because it just goes, no more conscious thought. In the comment below, tons of links if you want to delve into hours and hours and hours and hours of reading and research and understanding. Up to you. As we empty ourselves, and this is all just reinforcing just the ideas of becoming empty, emptying our mind. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about some other things as to some of the psychic powers that can come, or the realizations once we unclasp our limitations, our attachments to outcomes, to what it should be, to the laws of this physical universe. We may understand them, but It's up to each and every one of us to observe and see, allow the inner being. Because once we get to that state, our inner being is infinite. There's nothing else except now. Utura askahwatara asahitarata. I'm talking too much. Isko hutur utana yariata. Water is life, my friends. I invite you to close your eyes and don't think too hard about what's the right way to meditate. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali have 10 words describing how to meditate. The proper form of meditation. 10 words. Keeping it simple. It's about comfort. It's about ease. It's about not trying. 3 lines, 10 words. As we relax, comfortable, ease, whether you lie down, whether you sit, or whether you sit in seated meditation. Be easy on yourselves. Allow yourself to be comfortable and to relax. As we focus our awareness on our breath. As we slowly deepen our breath. And slowly deepen our exhale. As we listen to the sound of our breath, as we naturally breathe in the air and the life force energy. And as we simply listen to the sound of the air leaving our lungs. As we simply feel how the air expands in our lungs as we breathe in. As we simply feel how it feels to release the air from our lungs. As we feel how it feels to breathe in. As we feel how it feels to breathe out. Now in our mind's eye, in our imagination, let's create a chest, a chest of your creation. And let us put in this chest all of our anger, all of our worry, all of our fears, all of our doubts, all of our guilt, all of our shame, all of our grief. Let's just put it in the chest. Let's also put in anything we're going to do the rest of the day anything we're going to do the rest of the week or anytime in the future. Let's also put in what has already happened today. What has already happened already this week or any time in the past. Let's just put it in the chest. And let's also ask our inner being to put in this chest what it feels no longer serves and what might distract from our time with our breath, from our time with our chant, and our time with the energy. And let us close the lid on this chest, and let's set it aside. She'll be there for you at the end of meditation, if you so desire. As we continue to breathe in, and we continue to breathe out. Now let us focus our awareness on our heart center. For in our heart center is the home of our holy fire. And our holy fire is the source of our bright light. And every breath that we take with intention fans the flames of our holy fire. It did. Asahayukoha. Gorariata. I found a mute. Now imagine, see your breath fanning the flames. See your breath increasing the bright light. See your bright light and your holy fire breaking down to the debris. Making cracks in the karma. Making cracks in the blockages. Seeping more light through, and more light, and more light. As this light penetrates all of these blockages, all of this debris, and just shines the light out. As we invite and allow the holy fire to flow in, through, and around us all, in every way and everywhere. And everyone. And let us start the divine flow. If you have not done so already, let us take the energy from our heart center and move it up through the chakras, moving it up through Vishuddha, through Anya, through Sahasrara, through Vyapini, moving it up through the realms. Jiska to the edge of the matrix and entering into the highest source of consciousness through the ideas of Rita, Vikara, Shrishti, where in this highest source of consciousness there is no ego, there is no judgment, there is only unconditional love, which is total acceptance. Where it always respects free will, and where the power is unlimited. Let us bring back more pure holy fire through the ideas of Shrishti, Vikara, Rita, back into the matrix down through the realms, through Vyapini, purifying it, through Sahasrara, purifying it, through Anya, purifying it, through Vishuddha, purifying it, and back into Anahata, our heart center, purifying Anahata. Now let us ground this energy effectively, and purify the lower chakras, moving it down through Manipura, purifying it, purifying our intentions and our desires, moving it through Svadhisthana, purifying our idea of self, purifying our emotions, and down through Muladhara, purifying it, purifying our fears, allowing us to rest and be relaxed, and moving down through Vasundhara, purifying it, purifying our roots as we imagine growing roots down into Mother Earth, purifying our nurturing, our nourishment, growing roots down into Mother Earth, down, 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 deep into Gaia, wrapping these roots around the heart of Gaia, giving her a great big hug as she reminds us that we are spirit. Having a human experience, and bringing back her grounded love, up to the root system, through Vasundhara, Muladhara, Svadhisthana, Manipura, and back into Anahata, our heart center. Now let us turn over to our inner being to continue this divine flow without any conscious thought. Niarasa atakatita arata hiso ushahe natakarata isaya atakarata hetorata. And on the exhale, with intention and sankalpa of our inner being, let us push this energy out from our heart chakra, pushing it out from our physical bodies, pushing it out from our auric field, and into every aspect of our awareness, in every way, and everywhere, and every when. Niharata itar arsahe ashahe kaata. Kutur una atar arhanahe kachatar ekeata. In the process for this, we'll start off with one Aum, the primordial sound of the universe, elongating and separating each of the sounds of Om, Niaraskatata, A, from the heart, U, from the root, and Siakatukuryutuko, internalizing this primordial sound. And we will chant Om Mani Padme Hum 108 times using the Mala of Joy. The Koshi chime at the end will let us know when we're on the last one, and we will transition with one Aum. After a few breaths, a gentle reminder, we are switching the chant to Om Ahung, the wisdom of the emptiness that we are. We will chant. After the reminder, we will transition with one I Ying, which is aim, elongated into its three sounds, Niareska Otoru, to the divine feminine version of Om, Niareska Otoru. And the three sounds are A from the I Ying, I Ying, A from the heart, E from the crown, and Ng to resonate upwards. Iskahuturuta asanahiriata. Then we will chant Om, Ah, Hung 36 times. The Koshi chime at the end will let us know. When we're on the last one, and we will close out with one Aying Niarasa Aturu Urona Hayata Atare Arat. In a breath in for Aum. Aum. And a breath in to chant. Hatutoro ukanahasa era hata atitahara. Kotoro horanahasa ekahata. Atukuru to usha nanata arhatata. Kasha eka aratahi. Otoro huko otoro hasana hatarata. Shiaka atara harkahia to uruhota. Kotoro horanahasa ekahasa. Ashuhuko otoro. Sha asana haka etara. Otoro onohoko horohartokorota. Asuhotoro uranahasa eka hashira. Kotoro hukana asa. Asihikatara arnahaso ukutoro. Kasita atarata. Kasihiko uruhotara haraya. Hasutoro hukaana. Atika harata ateta hara. Ato toro hoshohia toro. Kashihika arhartogora. Ashihikana hara. Atoro hoko otoro hana. Ashotoro unohorota ayarara. Ishoko otoro ayana hasa akati. Isoko oro. Otoro hatana hatara. Harhosho oro harahanayara. Ishoko otoro unaharwati tahara. Arharana hatakara. Ashihiko otoro uronahako. Asita tahara takahayata atura. Ishoko oro honahatura. Atata harata isa. Arhoko uhuruhata atita. Shai isa katara arokonohata. Icho hotoro uronahatokara hisahaya. Aso hotoro. Achihiatata haranahaya. Kashihikara harakanahaso utoro. Itoro harahira hara. Arhoroko onoro. Atitakarata ahisa atara. Otoro hotoro hanadara tira. Shihiko toro uronahatoro ta. Kasiko toro hotarata. Shihikata urono orohotoro. Kotoro osanahat kedirira. Kotoro horanahasa akehetara. Ishohu kotoro okara. Arhoko roto urota. Na tata harhara keheta. Ishohu toro okonaharat kitira. Shahiko otoro. Atoro hukonoro. Kitata harrataka eso hukotara takira. Na rara harsana yareta. Kitoro kota arhana katari. Koshotoro korana warata. Isohuko orhoka asa ati takariataha. Kotoro kana ati takarata ayatara. Kosohuko toro kanarwara. Atoro hutorota. Sita tarar keheso toro. Shohoko uro. Ni tataharata kehita. Ochoro hotokoro hotoro kaya. Acho hotoro hotana waran. Ishoko urota. Isho taharata eta. Asoko otoro hotana warai. Asoko toro hotara shahesaha. Kotoro horana haro. Kosha tatakarata hita. Isohoko tor hayana hata. Arhoko urshahe. Nita taharata kaheraro. Kosata hatara kahesa. Isohoko tar haryana hata. Uchohotoro hukota. Isohoko utoro unahasuka. Achata harata hetara. Risho hoyata orhona hatora. Arshaka hatataha. Arhoko utoro unohotora hata. Atora hokanarawa. Ishoko tar hatana hetara. Asohoko ushohota. Arharkana hasiyatahara. Ashohoko utoro unaharuraha. Kisohoko toro horanaha toraha. Atahatar harakana haso. Ocho toro hokonono. Asaha atakarahate toro. Ishohoko utoro horanaha. Kotohoroto ora. Asohoko utara arkanaha tara. Ishahatata arata e. Kotoro hoko oranahai. Atoro hokora. Nisahaka arhartihi. Arhoroto urnotokora. Ishahatata hara. Asohoko urrotaha. Kotoro nahrurara. Isohoko tora hasiyati diaryarna. Ashotoro. Kasuhoko uro. Na tata karariera. Ashohoko uro hotoro honatu. Ashohoko uro hotara. Achihara harakahana takara. Kotoro hotoro onahavati. Atot korusho huyota itara. Kasahake araharna hatakara. Atur ukuhustara. Sik chara harakehera. Asoto tohurota. Katakarate hita. Atohoroto otoro. Hoshayaka arahatakoro hotaro warshoto. Utoro uko nata warhita. Ashohoko uro hota arahanata wara. Atuto hurroto orahashisa ayaka ata. Nata takarata huro. Uro hoka eraha. Kashi ka atar arkanahasa akota. Asuhoko arwata wara. Shihikotoro. Utoro anahasiyada. Atuhur hora kahirta. Kotor haranaha. Arhoko oshohokoro. Hutor to urhayaha. Natatar harkaha. Hasuhuko uro hotara arshahnota. Hasu to urhayata atahara. Kosho hoko urota. Atita karata asahe. Kato toru hoko nanawarahi. Niso hoko tora eata. Hasu hoko uro. Ashihiko utoro hotanarate. Katata harharhe. Arako horota. Nirayarata hatataha. Ichata hatakarhiasa. Itoro hoko unorota. Natara harakahasayeta. Nihiso utoro ukunata atarahayeta. Nihara sahakayarahata. Nasa ayakatara tita. Ishohuko uruhuto nananewari. Nara harakahayata. Isohukaya ara nahi. Nita takarharsuwa. Arhuka otor arikihanaye. Atakarshahe sa akayarta. Asuhoyata. Achihari harikehe. Narhurso utor urhanaye. Nidi hariyata nahirara. Arwarahisukuhota. Ata taharata nati. Nata taharata hitorata. Ishokuratayata. Asuku tur utanarivara. Kasutu turayata aranayata. Asuku uturu. Isohuku arvasana hatita. Shatata karta niriyarata. Nihorohoso ukutora hatawara. Niatar harkana hirsa. Aturayata atara. Nisohochiara hasuhochiari hisa. Natata karahirata. Kasuturhutara arhanahaya. Arhututu. Asihikachata arhana. Asihikati harirnurhukaya. Asuchata taraheto. Urhuruka asuhuka. Arharisha. Atat karatuta. Arshohyako urnanvara. Asihikichara. Nito torhugeta. Arhasu uturu. Nirarahasa ekaha. Narahasi igoro ohonaharuha. Asaheka ashaheka anahara. Atahati tarhero. Anahiri asaeka atarataka. Anahita. Asaya uturuhu sono. Ihata takatara asaya atoru ukotuhuroto. Nihitana. Aihitor tokuro. Ahani aryata atu. Otorokehita. Ahane eesha ator ahava. Nito o shaha ataka. Ator oka ono onawa. Atata hartita kuhuroto orhitora. Asho aya aku anwa. Atu aishai totaka warahiwa. Atu tora e nahwa e kana. Asa asho uchi orahu. Aya atana uta arsha. Nasa iku urto utua. Inanan hartaku. Ohushai asani. Ototu hutotarshai. naihi ticha artku arta aicha arhutu hanai ashi o hayu uta hata ayu hashuta natata arhaku uaya ito tokoro aya nahia sa arhuku uto uta arhane eko aya hasu ugu shahi utu aya ni utugu orhe onahe asu uya cha atu utu orhuturu ni sa atukura atura arta erora ni so uku cho uru ta eta kasu uku utura ishahi ke asu uta ni so uku utura atukwariara asu huko uru hawa atu aruhursa utu nasi kichata atara arakahe ututu urahe aruhso ukuta itoto horohaya anahasa arshuhuku uruka easaha itota harharahnahe ushuhuku uturu aiheka anahata atoto urhoya darshi sho yoko oraya na aasahi asu utoto ura autoto uhurta a nata atakara ashahaya hasu u urhusha yuto ata anara harakihara ashuko uyut urahana asukoche sa takarhoro utoto urhaya tanayara kaiheshko ora aso e ashahayako a artukuru so uchi tukuri hisuti achi so ya awara ayana kuturu huka aseera aso haya a eso hoya orna ashuko uturu na yara aso huki chirora ni hararakaha asohuko ushu utororda arukara tira narota kutur itukura hasa ekaha hashito urhor naharora archuhorota ora arhurso oyo cho utoro utakara arhoroto urusana kasa atakara niriaria roko hoto o uturu huka erata asuhuko uruhuka nanarati koshuhuko uruhuna norate dira arasu uyayiho sihitukora hanora hasi aruhuko uto ushahiyata atara kitor horona harora arkorayeta icho hotor horkana haswata atu tuhurhotar arkahayata ni arashahe arhuko utor orkana kasita atata arharkahayata ashohoyoto utoro koja asa ayakaha. And a breath in for Aum. And a few breaths. Niarata atata uruhusha eko utara. Katita harata atiyata hana. And here's the gentle reminder that we are switching the chant chant Om Mahung Niaresu Ukuro Utaravarasana. We will start off with one Aying. We will chant Om Mani Padme Hum Niarata. We will chant Om Ahung Niarahasu Utoro Arkahesu Utoro. I'm an autopilot. Isuhutara Arnana. Om Ahung 36 times. The Koshi chime will let us know when we're on the last one. And Kasi Ikutorioto, we will close out with one Aying. Isa Atakarata. Hishu Utoro Toro. Itata Arana Hatkarahasa Eko Tatar. Ishoko Orhata Arhana Hasa Eka. Ika Niara Arsahano Toro Tokora. And a breath in for Aying. Aying Niarahasaya Hotoro Katatara. And a breath in to chant. Om In a breath in, crying. Stay here for as long as you like. Maybe even pause the video to spend more time in the energy. And when you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to the here and now. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes and welcome in the new now. Utur ukaya atar aranahatar araka. Shiokora ranahata isata karata etur ukaya narara. Congratulations, my friends. We have completed day number 15 of being, blissful existence, becoming empty, illuminating and nurturing growth, grace, presence. I encourage you to journal. I have a little bit of journaling to do before going to sleep. Clearly, this video is not being posted on the 25th. It's already past midnight, so I'm going to upload it still. But I encourage you to journal about your experience. Still chuckling. That's good. Be easy on yourselves during the meditation. How many times did I yawn? How many times did I mess up? So I thank you, my friends, for sharing in my highest bliss, no matter how late it is. There's always time to meditate. And shine on with and from your inner being. And make it a great day, no matter how short the remaining part of it is. Because why would you leave it up to anyone else? Nihakasa ati arihokodo uru huta arharkana.